surgeon partners, the right hospitals, the right payers. Those are the partners that accelerate adoption. All three need to come together simultaneously. Next slide, please. Okay. So Mako is a good case study on it. Okay, so the problem is very specific. Robert spoke a little about the knee replacements, but we started off on what's called a partial knee replacement or unicondylar knee replacement. And that offers so many benefits to the patient. But the outcomes were very variable. Whether or not the patient had good results depended whether on which surgeon performed the procedure, their experience. Implant placement was inconsistent. Poor placement led to poor outcomes and early revisions. We did not build a robot and then look for the problem. We started with understanding the clinical problems, and then we built a real robotic system to solve it. Tactical boundary enforcements, patient-specific preoperative planning, and CTs. The surgeon was the control of every step. The robot extended the enhancing the precision. It did not replace their judgment, which is really important. It was very critical.
This was the only part that was interesting was this area.
The beachhead
and that was it.
Was
the rest
developing
was
a partial knee replacement, then expanding the indications to hips and total knees. In 2013, Stryker acquired Mako for $1.65 billion. Today, more than 2 million procedures have been performed on the platform. More than 2,500 systems have been installed globally, all manufactured here in South Florida. And it's 10 times the installations of what we had when we sold it in 2013. So the key is you win narrow, you prove value, then you scale. Next slide, please. This was a really cool video that I wanted to show you of the Mako story almost 20 years ago. But let's go to the next slide, which is lesson number 2. One patient case study. Lesson number 2. Own one painful use case first. And I want to give you an example of the central tremor. Next slide, please. So lesson number 2 is the beachhead is not your limitation. It's actually your proof of concept. You pick a segment where the pain is the highest, the evidence is clearest, and the workflow fits the strongest. You go deep, not broad. You make yourself indispensable in that one application before you try to extend to other applications. Then you invest in data, outcomes data, cost data, patient stories. That data does not justify just the regulators, it builds the commercial case. And when you have a winning model at one site, you replicate it. Build a network of proof before you build a network of applications. When I joined Incytech, I did it for just that. I focused on essential tremor. I defined patient population that was not currently being adequately served. We measured outcomes. We cleared comparison points against deep brain stimulation, which was the standard of care, and which also required open surgery. We did not start with a full platform. We started with the patients most likely to drive data, adoption, and advocacy. Next slide, please. Incytech is not a market share story. It's a market creation story. The unmet need is enormous and hidden. Essential tremor affects millions of people. Besides medication that fails 50% of the time, the only other option is surgery using deep brain stimulation, which requires open surgery. An implant device, multiple adjustments, and regularly changing the batteries. Thus, most eligible patients choose never to get access to surgical interventions and live with the symptoms. Incytech has offered those patients something that's never had before, an incisionless option. FDA approved for essential tremor came in 2016, backed by randomized controlled trials that we published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2016. In 2025, the FDA approved a staged bilateral treatment of advanced symptoms for Parkinson's and a significant expansion and in reach of being able to get into Parkinson's. Pairing